Good evening, friends. So, welcome to the today's lecture of geography. So, till yesterday, we have seen all the chapters from 6th standard NCERT. From today onwards, we are going to look at the 7th standard NCERT. 7th standard NCERT will have most of the part of the environment along with the geography. So, little bit of introduction to environment also we are going to have. So, before moving towards the first chapter of the 7th standard NCERT, we'll talk about yesterday's question. So, yesterday's question was how climate, vegetation, and wildlife all three are connected to each other. So, as we have seen that the climate is a average day-to-day weather conditions of a particular period, let us say 30 to 40 years. So climate will decide or climate will talk about temperature, precipitation, humidity. So these conditions will impact upon the type of vegetation. So depending upon the climate, so for example, desert type of climate, you'll have one kind of temperature, one kind of precipitation. So you'll have one kind of vegetation. If you have a very high rainfall like Kerala, high humidity, and average temperature is almost up to 30 degrees, okay, so there you will have more amount of evergreen trees. So in this ways, climate will decide the type of vegetation in the particular area. Now once vegetation have been decided, now wildlife will be dependent upon the type of vegetation. Why? Because in the end, they will survive on that vegetation. So finally, the kind of vegetation that you have, that will decide the type of wildlife. Also, the type of climate you will have, that will also decide the type of wildlife. So if you have vegetation which is very, very dense, then there you will have various types of animals, birds, reptiles. If you have a vegetation very, very rare, then you will have a less biodiversity. So highest or extreme climates will always have low amount of biodiversity, whether it is too hot or too cold. Moderate climates will always have more amount of biodiversity or wildlife. So type of climate. So vegetation will determine the type of animals, type of biodiversity. Climate will determine what characteristics they will have. So for example, deers are there. Deers are there in hot climate as well as in the cold climate. But in the hot climate, deer skin will be less hairy. It will be less thick. It will be thin, like chital. But in the cold climate, the deer skin will be very, very thick. It will have lots of fur on them to save itself from the cold. So in this way, climate will determine the characteristics of the wildlife. So in the cold region, birds will be different. In the warmer region, birds will be different. Reptiles will have different characteristics in the colder region. Reptiles will have a different characteristics in the wilder region, hotter region. So in this way, climate, vegetation will determine the type of wildlife that is there in the particular area. So this is what is expected to write. You can also write about biodiversity hotspot, but that is not taught yet. So this is like 6th standard NCERT. So basic answer is also fine. If you know more about biodiversity hotspot and marine biological hotspot, then you can talk about that. Otherwise, this much answer is fine. So I hope the 6th standard NCERT was completely understandable for you guys, and it did not create much issues for you guys. I know it was very, very simple. So today onwards, we are going to see the 7th standard NCERT. So friends, first chapter is about environment. It's a very small chapter and very sweet chapter. So let us understand certain basic concept about environment. So first, let us understand what are the components of environment. What is the meaning of the word environment? When do we celebrate the World Environment Day? So World Environment Day, if you see, is celebrated on 5th June. And if you remember, 2018, India was the host of World Environment Day, and the UN, uh, the UN World Environment Chief, this uh, what is his name? I just forgot. Sorry. So he came to India, and this Diya Mirza and Sadhguru Jaggi Vasudev and Eric Solheim. Yes, Eric Solheim. The three were there in 2018, and the theme of the World Environment Day was beating the plastic pollution. So, friends, when we say environment, this word is not coming from any Latin or Greek. What do we mean by the word environment? So, environment is a French word. So, the basic word behind or the root word for this environment is environner or environner. So, this is a French language. So, it means neighborhood. So, environment means neighborhood. So, it's a basic word. So, let us understand what are the components of environment. So, when we say components of environment, we are considering here environment as a system. So when we say any system, so each and every system has a component. So environment also have component. So what are those components? So some components are some components which have consciousness, we call them as a living components, and some components we call them as a non-living components. Okay. So also we can classify them into broadly three categories: natural component, human-made component, and human component. Okay, so these are the three different approaches, or these are the three different uh, subcomponent under the components of environment. Under these subcomponents, you again have subcomponents. So when we say natural environment, then what do you have? Okay, you have this water, you have land, you have then you have animals. Okay, so you have fire, you have air. Okay, so these are the natural components. Human made components. Human made component means what? So before understanding the human made components, let us understand the human components. Human component means, let us say, the institutions that are made by the humanity. So they can be virtual institutions or physical institutions like family. Okay, so you have individual, the human component, family is a human component, a village is a human component, city is a human component, then a nation is a human component. So overall society, it comes under the human component of the environment. So these are the human components of the environment. Okay, family is there, marriage is there, individual is there, household is there. Okay, then you have a village, you have a nation. So these are the human components of the environment. Now, as a human being, we make certain components other than the human beings, okay, other than the individuals. By using the external physical factors, we make certain components like industries, we make temples, we make mosques, we make churches, we make buildings. Okay, so these are the made by the human beings. So that's why we call them as a human made components. So components of the environment. So first of all, you can divide that into three parts: human environment, human made environment, natural environment. So in the natural environment, you'll have a land, water, air, animals, plants, birds. They will come under the natural component. Then human component, you have a human institutions like marriage is there, family is there, individual is there, household is there, nation is there, village is there. And human made component means what? By using the external factor, we have made certain structures. So these structures are, what are those structures? You have buildings, you have railway stations, you have airports, you have a mosque, you have a temple, you have churches. So these are the three important components of the environment. Okay, so these are very important thing. These small definitions can be utilized in mains examination. For example, a question comes: how the actions of the human beings are affecting the different components of the environment. So here people will write the generalized answer, but you can draw this diagram. First you can explain what do you mean by the components of the environment. So that is why these NCRTs are very important. They will give you very good clue in answer writing. If you really do this NCRT nicely, your answer writing will improve very smartly. Okay. So these are the various components of the environment. Now, further, let us say this was one of the way to classify the components of the environment in a three ways. There is one more very simple way to classify the components of the environment. Yes, as you can see on your screen, biotic components and abiotic components. So biotic means what? Here bio means living. Okay. So biotic components means living components. Living component means which has some consciousness, as we call it as, like animals are there, birds are there, plants are there, human beings are there, insects are there. So these are the biotic components, living components. And another is a non-living components or abiotic components. So we don't consider them that they have a life or they have a consciousness. For example, water, air, fire, soil, minerals, they are all abiotic component. But there is an intersection between biotic and abiotic component over here. So why there is an intersection? Because without interaction between living and non-living components, living components cannot survive. Even abiotic factors cannot maintain themselves without the interaction of the non-living component. For example, lake remains lake because it has a living component like fish. So fish needs water. Water is an abiotic component. So without water, fish cannot live. And if all fishes die, lake will not survive because sedimentation in the lake will increase. Algas will increase. So fishes will eat that alga. Fishes will clean that water. So lake will remain lake because of the living component, and living component will remain living because of the non-living component. So that's why there's an interaction between biotic and abiotic components. They are dependent upon each other. Okay. So second way of classification of the components of the environment are biotic and abiotic factors. So abiotic are non-living factors. Now, when we say natural environment, in the first slide, we have said the natural environment. Where does this natural environment happen or it take place? So when we have seen the domains of the atmosphere or domains of the earth, then we have seen that lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere. Also we have seen that in this lithosphere, hydrosphere and atmosphere, the thin skin of these three components, we call it as a biosphere where life exists. So the interaction of the lithosphere, atmosphere and hydrosphere where life exists. So as we know, though some organisms are living in the air, they require nutrition which comes from the hydrosphere, which comes from the lithosphere. If some organisms are living on the lithosphere, they need water which comes from hydrosphere and air which comes from the atmosphere. So the interaction between the three, the intersection between the three where called as a biosphere where natural environment happens. So huge forests are there, then colonies of the bacteria are there, marine organisms are there. So all these are the part of the natural environment. Everywhere natural environment exists. So this is called as a biosphere. So this biosphere is a very huge concept. So biosphere will include all the living organisms, not even we are excluding single organism. But are these living organisms are living all are living simultaneously with each other? No. They exist in their own patches or they have their own world. We call it as an ecosystem. So ecosystem, it formed because of the interaction of the few species of the organisms and the surrounding non-living environment. So for example, we have a pond ecosystem. So in the pond ecosystem, you have, let us say, frog, you have plants, you have praying mantises, then you in the water of this pond, you will have various insects, then you will have water snakes, you will have fishes, then at the bottom of the this pond, you will have a bottom dwelling organisms, like certain crabs will be there. So these are the few species which are continuously interacting with each other. So how they are interacting with each other? So these praying mantis or insects are eating the plants. Frog is eating the insect. Then this frog is eaten by the water snake, and when this water snake dies, it will be decomposed by the bottom dwelling bacteria organisms. So only these organisms are for generations of the generations or millions of years they are interacting with each other. So we are calling it as an ecosystem. So here simultaneously these species, living components and non-living components are continuous interaction with each other. They live with each other. They are linked to each other. They transfer energy from one to another. So when his insect is eaten by the frog, so frog is taking energy from the insect. Snake is taking energy from the frog. So in this way, energy transfer happens. So this is a bound type of interaction without which they cannot survive. So we are calling it as an ecosystem. Now tiger is not related to pond. Yeah, though it is coming to drink water to the plant, but it is not going to hunt the frogs in the pond. Getting it? So tiger is not part of a pond ecosystem. Getting it? So here ecosystem is a set of an organism which interact with each other and their surrounding environment continuously. And they live there. They transfer the energy and material both. So we are calling them as a ecosystem. So definitely in further chapters we are going to see this ecosystem in detailed manner. So this is a very small chapter. I think it finishes over here. So last part of this is the human environment. So human environment that we have seen, that these are the things that we create by interacting with each other. So human beings, they interact with each other. They modify their world accordingly. So human environment will come families and individuals and let us say some institutions, marriage and all. So this is a human environment. Getting it? So human environment is different from the natural environment, but it uses the component of the natural environment according to their need. So that is why we call it as an human environment. So now based upon this, we will have some MCQs. So first MCQs, we know that which is not a natural ecosystem. So yes, aquarium is not a natural ecosystem. Desert and forest are the natural ecosystem. Okay, which is not a component of the human environment. So yes, we have seen. Okay, one out of three component is a natural part of natural environment, not a human environment, which is a human-made environment. Yes. So human-made environment, we know which is a human-made environment. Which is a threat to environment? Very, very simple. So see the difference between human environment and human-made environment. If you have very clarity about that, then only you will be able to answer this question. Even in the UPSC also this type of question can be asked and you may get confused very fast. What is a human environment? Oh my God. They'll give you options. Religion, community, road, and mountain. So, or let's say religion, community, family, road. Which of the following is a part of human environment? So, in this way, it can be very, very confusing. So, I hope guys you have understood this chapter. So, there tomorrow we are going to see the next chapter, inside or earth. This is also very important chapter. So, if you have any doubt in this first chapter, please let me know on the social media. So, see you tomorrow. Thank you.